Hello, I'm Zash, and welcome to episode 43 of my Senjou no Maou, or The Devil on G String, Let's Read. Joining me, as always, is my co-reader Faith. Now, we are going into the final half of the Kanon's Good End. If you skipped the previous episode because you're not caring about Kanon's End, you can just skip on over this one too. But if you're listening to Kanon's Endings, you can listen to this one. And you can listen to us get a little bit more angry. So, Kanon's gone back to Kyosuke's place, and she's off to her skate, where she's going to probably win it all, because that's how these things go. Anyway, please enjoy. If you can.
Ellipses. Mega-ellipses.
The 26th of December, the match that would decide Kanon's future as an athlete was about to begin. She didn't come home until early in the morning.
I'm back, Nissan.
When she did, she bore a somewhat grand expression.
Sorry about yesterday.
I don't know what happened, but she seemed to be lively enough. Don't worry about it. I'm used to dealing with cops. You know me, always up to no good.
Mom's doing just fine, by the way.
Damn it. Dramatic ellipses.
I'm so glad she wasn't hurt too badly. I mean, it ate me up inside if Mom got seriously injured protecting me. And she did protect me.
No, she didn't. You know this.
Oh, so she's just gonna accept that.
I almost shouted, "Are you kidding?" According to the police report, there was no evidence that Ikuko-san even came into contact with the sports car. I still have no idea how she could have hit her head.
Mom pushed me out of the way.
Ellipses.
She protected me. In her own way.
I see. I suppose this is one of those rare points in life where the ends justify the means. No, they don't. All's well that ends well is not it is not ending well. So all is not well.
My entire head hurts.
Who am I to complain if it got Kanon to start calling Ikuko-san Mom? Well, yeah, it's not Kyosuke's point to complain. It's ours.
It's everyone's point to complain.
Anyway, Nissan, I just wanted to stop by to say I'm sorry. I've probably given you like 17 headaches these past few weeks.
Are you alright, Kanon? She was strangely meek.
If Nissan hadn't been there for Nanchan, she'd have been finished.
No, she would have been better off. We saw that ending. No, I didn't do anything.
You always let me get my way. You held me when I felt down. You apologized to Seta-san for me. You talked with me about Mom.
So?
In return, I'm gonna pull off the performance of a lifetime.
In return? To think Kanon would say such a thing. Well, I won't ask why. Just make sure to keep your word, okay?
Haha, of course.
It's been too long since I last saw Kanon's radiant smile. She must have found some sort of peace. Yeah, she found peace, just not good peace.
Yeah.
A crowd of reporters who've heard about yesterday's incident run to meet the car as it pulls up to the curb and lets Kanon out. Kanon-san, your mother was in an accident yesterday, correct? He speaks without even feigned concern as microphones and cameras are thrust at Kanon.
It's nothing serious.
Kanon replies boldly. She stares down the cameras without hesitation.
She'll be discharged from the hospital this evening and will be here to watch my performance. I'll be dedicating my performance tonight to her. I'll be sure to give all of you the most artistic show of my career so far. So, I'll see you on the ice. Wish me luck.
The reporters all stood dumbfounded, leaving an empty pause clearly unfit for live television. Kanon shifted her chin high and disappeared through the staff entrance. The long-awaited ladies' free skate began at 6:30. When I arrived at the arena at 1 o'clock, the ice dancing and pair skating matches were already underway.
Hey, it's his eye-sign.
Yo, Kyosuke! I suddenly ran into Iichi and Usami, who saw me. I thought I had finally gotten rid of you. How did you manage to get a ticket?
Apparently the Japan Championships aren't as crowded as the finals. I stood in line all night and got one at the door.
As disgusting as ever, I see.
My second party member is fighting her final battle. It would be bad form to skip out on cheering for her, wouldn't it?
This won't be her final battle. I can promise you that.
Oh, sorry, right. The battle has yet to begin.
Sounds like something from a movie trailer. But, alright. If you're going to say final, at least save it for the Olympics. Usami nodded. Sabaki said she'll get here around 6.
I miss Tsubaki.
Me too.
I brought this really cute sign I made.
We all made it together! Whoa, you guys are shamelessly cheesy.
No way, this is nothing compared to your gallant defense on TV yesterday. It was so beautiful when you pulled Kanon's hand and protected her from the media.
Oh, shut up! Just go sit down, will you? I waved them away with my hand. By the fucking way, my old man flipped his shit on me thanks to you canceling that room reservation. Ichi never forgets to complain. Sometimes he forgets to say bye. But he never forgets to complain. Talk about a bunch of numbskulls. Still, Kanon would be happy. I wish we could let her know that her friends have come to watch her. I had a light meal before the ladies' singles started. In the packed corridor of the arena, I see a man horribly out of place among this everyday scenery. Well, I'll be. Did you have a sudden change of heart, father? Gonzo appears from out of the crowd of Yakuza around him.
I was wondering how my own flesh and blood would meet her end.
Meet her end?
If she loses today, she's finished.
Oh, yes, of course.
If she can't make me money, she's nothing but garbage.
Naturally. All the major sponsors cut their contracts with Kanon. With Kanon's current image, she'll be of no further use to the Sonoyama Group financially. She'll lose her backing and her career. I gaze into Gonzo's cold eyes. Your prediction for today's outcome isn't very fatherly. A strange light runs through those brutal eyes. I pay no heed to it and spit out with a hint of challenge. My girl is your daughter, you know. There's no way she can lose. He laughs so deeply as he stares me down in delight.
You think she can win?
Yep.
Even though the girl in first place is already 15 points ahead and one of Sanu's dogs.
That won't stop Kanon.
Even though she's deficient when it comes to program component score, and their technical scores are nearly equal.
Well, Seta has traditionally dominated the performance execution and interpretation components, and I suppose it's true that her jumps have been catching up with Kanon's recently.
Does that mean your confidence stems from the belief that today will be different?
She still has a few tricks up her sleeve.
So, you're honestly claiming Kanon, who is inferior both in talent and popularity, can win this match?
The more people say she can't do it, the more important it is for me to have faith in her. Gonzo nods with a condescending smile plastered on his lips. I always thought you were just another piece of sycophantic livestock, Q. Sycophantic livestock, Kyosuke. Ellipses.
But it turns out you can disagree with me.
The monster turns his back to me. Megalipses. Ellipses. The arena was packed with hustle and bustle. I have half a mind to worry that the commotion will melt the rink's ice. Everyone's here to see the new idol, Seta Makiko. I look around and see hundreds of signs cheering for Seta. I sit down, and the group practices before the competition starts. There was still no sign of Kanon, who was scheduled to go last. I suddenly feel a presence behind my head.
Can I sit here?
A voice I've never heard called out to me. Oh? Hikuko-san? She was almost like a ghost. Hollow eyes, shaky legs. What's wrong? Shouldn't you be over in the staff seating? She shakes her head.
I'm not a coach or anything, so...
I look at her ticket. Seating for relatives, right next to mine. Are you feeling all right?
Yeah.
She murmurs as she hobbles over to her seat. She's a terribly eerie sight. It would be an understatement to say that she merely looks possessed. With the face like a corpse, she stares into empty space.
Hey, did you know?
Megalipses.
Did you know Kanon-chan was crying all that time?
Megalipses.
She was crying in her heart, but still, she worked her hardest for her mother. She gave her choice of clothes, her free skate program, her Christmas Eve. Everything she had, she gave to me.
Ellipses.
Did you know? Well, did you?
She asks this, muttering, Did you, did you, did you? I honestly can't say that I did. All this time I've lived a slave to money, seeing my sister as nothing but a tool.
She says she'll be the number one.
The apparition mutters again. With just a small push, she would hang herself.
For her pathetic mother. She says she'll be number one.
Ellipses.
Because people hate me too, she said, smiling.
When people are sad enough, they forget to cry.
People hate me. Smiling.
I couldn't find a reply. The words wouldn't come. The only person in this world who could have sympathized with this woman, who could have reached out for her with compassion, the only person who could have been this woman's savior, was Kanon.
Ugh.
I see. Kanon. I smile wryly. You really are the king. You're sitting on a rather tiny country's throne. You've done well. Now hurry and come out. Show them. Show them your wish for your mother.
Oh, that's a good narrative too.
Yeah.
The abused is the only one who can save their abuser. Ha ha ha. Lovely.
Ellipses. Seta Makiko's free skate came before Kanon's, and it was nothing less than dignifying. The entire audience was galvanized by the time she had finished. Her score was announced, and it was just shy of a magnanimous 200 points. So grand was the applause that it seems like the spectators' very lives depended on the clapping. Bouquets of flowers were tossed into the rink, and young girls on skates collected them. The new heroine of the ice, Seta, took her exit, and the arena quieted down. A gloomy, unpleasant silence followed. And then the announcement came. Kanon's turn.
Upskirt.
If you can call that a skirt.
Coach Hilton had proposed that she abstain. Shortly before the match, during practice, her right ankle started to feel a bit odd. It wasn't a sprain or anything like that. However, as she used her right foot as a pivot to spin, pain steadily gnawed at her nerves. It was most likely a result of twisting when Ikuko pushed her away from the car yesterday evening. Her stamina was also a concern. She didn't exactly sleep well last night. The 4-minute free skate demands quite a bit of stamina. Even Kanon, who ran 3 miles around the arena every day, often got headaches from lack of oxygen after a performance. The audience's reaction to her appearance was cold. The maelstrom of applause was something entirely of the past. Now Kanon suffered a downpour of glances filled with disdain and then scorn. Their eyes were dripping with malice, and bore the look of wolves eagerly, excitedly waiting a feast with anticipation. If this weren't Japan, the arena would have been long filled with booing by now. As Kanon skated out to the center of the rink, she calmly analyzed her own situation. If she loses, it's all over. Forget about the Olympics. She won't even make it to Worlds. She's already caused such a stir. She may be deserted by the Union, or even stripped of her federal scholarship. What about her mother?
We don't care.
No. And you shouldn't either, friend. This should be about you, not her. Kanon recognized that there was something strange about her last night. Supposedly, I think the story's trying to say that she figured out that she's making a boo-boo and she'll get better miraculously because of this,
Yeah.
but do you know how often that works? It really doesn't. People go back to their ways.
Yeah.
Her madness was akin to being thrown overboard from an already capsized ship into an ocean of sin. If Kanon loses this competition, Ikuko will likely lose her mind. Her pulse hastened, and her skin was attacked by a frothing sense of fear. See, this is terrible. This is like those significant others that say, if you leave me, I'll kill myself.
Yeah.
No. This is terrible.
When you do that, you call 911, then say, I'm leaving you.
Yeah. The stagnant, chilly air crossed horrifically with the stifling silence. Standing alone in the center of the gleaming ice, Kanon couldn't help but feel cornered. But at the same time, she thought about whose fault it was that it had come to this. There was no need to even think. Kanon came to a decision. The music will begin soon. While entering her initial pose, Kanon slowly closed her eyes. She decided in an instant. Her anxiety about her right ankle, her fatigue from lack of sleep, her pulse so violent that she could hear it, everything. She drove everything from her mind. She decided to offer up a prayer. She placed this prayer of gratitude and love alongside this famous piece. Oh my God. As a beautiful melody flowed from the piano, Kanon turned aside and sprang into action. Kanon attuned herself to the opening of the piece, and thought only of her mother, her foolish, helpless mother. She raised her head and looked up towards the sky. As she skated, she filled her chest with wishes and desires. The first jump was rapidly approaching. She made an approach run all the way to the wall, and concentrated the entirety of her focus into the tip of her left outside edge. Double axel. As the piano sent a chord spinning loudly through the arena, Kanon launched into the air. She made 2 effortless rotations while airborne and landed facing backwards. For someone like Kanon, who can make 2.5 or even 3 rotations, it was much like a warm-up. Or so she thought. She had made light of it in her arrogance. A dull pain shot through her right ankle. She thought of it as an appropriate punishment and silently endured it. She skated gently, softly over the ice, as if to avoid waking her sleeping mother, as if to protect the eternal sleep her mother had endured since her father had abandoned them. Her execution was flawless. Nevertheless, the applause was sparse, like praise sprung from obligation. But that was the best Kanon could hope for. Who would clap for a girl like her? Hers was the story of a petty mother and a selfish daughter. One could even call it repulsive.
And so we do. Many times.
Yeah, pretty much. Kanon simply apologized in her heart. While performing a graceful step sequence, Kanon addressed her mother. Hey, Ma. I'm about to do the combination jump we used to practice together. The first time Kanon had been able to successfully land a Lutz, her mother cried her eyes out. In the moment that followed, the Lutz that Kanon had invented to cut ties with the other day came back to her. As she skated into the jump, she begged her right leg for cooperation. There's no helping it, Kanon-chan. You really are so spoiled. She heard her mother's voice, and it materialized as a 3-rotation combination jump. The ice shavings glittered like rhinestones near Kanon's feet. You can always make more money, Kanon-chan. She skated forward again, this time drawing near to the judges. and slightly shook her head for a reason only she could possibly understand. Money? Kanon executed a combination spin before the judge panel. She leaned on one edge and spun at high speeds, drawing a circle in the ice, all the while shifting her posture and position, readjusting her balance each time. Mom should pay more attention to her spending, while giving thanks in her mind to the judges who work on meager salaries. Kanon ever so naturally demonstrated a very vivid Y-spin. "All right, Mom." Her right ankle was strained from the spin, and it cried out in pain. "Mom, it's coming up next. Watch closely." She focused her concentration once more onto a technique that was considered impossible for women in Ikuko's skating days. Okay, but why?
It wasn't. Women didn't have the leg strength.
No, that's okay.
And, they never trained for it, and
It was hard, yeah.
the women were always behind the men in the more physical, demanding trick or jumps.
They generally don't have to pick up other people, so yeah. Men who partner skate tend to have to pick up their partners a lot.
There's solo men's as well.
I know. There's two different, but guys usually do both.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think that all figure skaters tend to do both. Yeah. Yeah. But in general, they don't have to pick people up, and they're really tiny people. They're really tiny girls. She had no choice but to do it. It was the only way to win. Not against Seta. Against herself. It was the only way to defeat a girl who had been spoiled by her mother from birth. And as Kanon was being spoiled, Kanon was also spoiling her mother. While gliding backwards, Kanon nailed her toe pick into the ice. Violently, as if scolding her mother. This is where her submitted program had listed a triple.
It was at that moment a thunderous roar shook the arena. Kanon's solo jump was high enough to pierce the heavens. The moment she launched into the air, the tranquility which had reigned up to that point vanished, and ferocity filled the emotional vacancy in the air.
A quadruple toe loop.
Quadruple? Toe loops are considered rather simple amongst all the jumps. But if you're talking about a quad, then it's a completely different story. It's considered more difficult than even the triple axel, which only a handful of women can do in the entire world. It's also worth more points than 2 triple toe loops combined.
Don't attempt quads.
Ikuko-san spoke up from my side in a shaky voice.
I told her not to do them. I told her that they put too much stress on the lower body. She can win just fine without them. I kept pampering her like that.
I had no words. What a girl. Skaters are free to make changes to their program before or even during the performance. But in most cases, that simply involved reducing triple jumps to doubles for sure or safer points. No successful 4-revolution jump has ever been landed in an official match by a woman. Kanon had set her mind on perfection in this, the 11th hour. She intends to win. And points were not the only thing that Kanon had obtained. Wild, feral, torrential voices of astonishment fell onto the ice. Amazing!
Isn't this, different?
Yeah, this is completely different from her usual free skate.
It's like her feelings are really packed into it or something. She's like a different person. Is that really a Sai Kanon?
The atmosphere had changed. I was proud. My sister had showed me the world's first execution of this incredible maneuver. Megalipses. Ellipses.
Kanon had just finished her 3-jump combination. Double axel, double loop, double loop. That leaves just one last jump. The second half of the performance was rapidly approaching. She earnestly endured the pain of her injury while wearing an affectionate smile. It hurts. Why is she naked over there? Her miraculous quad jump sent a shock all the way to her hips. She had pushed it a bit with that technique. Her knees creaked in a nearly dizzy, throbbing pain. It was a mystery how her right ankle still managed to glide over the ice. Even still, I must answer to this applause. Up until now, Kanon had practically ignored the audience. She had thought of them as nothing more than an ignorant bunch that would just fall all over her after she showed them some difficult maneuver. But they were pure. They put forth a decent amount of money to witness today's event out of nothing but a love for skating. If that wasn't the case, then how else would you explain these grand cheers? Despite how much they hate me, they're still sending me such warm shouts. Kanon almost cried for the urge to apologize to the audience. It was miserable, but in the place of tears, she wore a smile and held her chin high in pride. As long as this 100 by 200 foot ice rink is here, Kanon will strain her utmost strength in order to satisfy them as a figure skater. Just then, though she had known beforehand which seat her brother would be in, it was still quite fortuitous. In the middle of a straight line step sequence, she caught a glimpse of her mother in the stands for an instant. Songs my mother taught me, in the days long vanished. Seldom from her eyelids were the teardrops banished.
Ellipses. Megalipses. The program was Songs My Mother Taught Me. This was the musical selection that had caused such a stir during the NHK Trophy and the finals. The piece we had all thought could never complement a Zai Kanon. A non-vocal arrangement of Dvorak's tune flowed over the ice. The theme of his piece is very simply gratitude towards one's mother. The mother rubbed her hands together and sobbed for her daughter. As if reciting some prayer, she cried in a subdued voice.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
The mother, a woman who had become an empty husk, mustered all her spirit to dedicate a prayer. There was no doubt that Kanon was suffering on the ice from that quad jump. Only, she never broke her smile. She showed not a single shard of weakness. Kanon expressed her gratitude for her mother with her facial expression, her toe pick, and everything in between.
Kanon-chan. Kanon-chan.
All right, Kanon. Your last jump is waiting. I learned something from my studying. Jumps performed in the second half are worth 10% more points. One's stamina had begun to wear out, so doing anything impressive late in the program is a harsh feat. Only the king would even dream of pulling off what she's about to do. Go for it, Kanon. Bring the triple axel, the flower of skating, into the heat of the finale. Gah! The tension caused me to bite my lip. Hang in there, Kanon.
The arena was dazzling. Kanon's consciousness was already faint. By now, one could say her body was just performing on its own. Why? How is it that she's still standing? How can she still be performing this high-level flying spin combination so happily?
Adrenaline is a hell of a drug.
Her world spun like a top.
I don't want to skate anymore.
What's the matter, Kanon-chan?
I mean, skating is so boring.
Why you say that? Didn't you win at the last tournament?
Winning isn't fun. You're the only one having fun, Mom.
And what's so wrong about your mother having a little fun? Oh,
Evil,
God.
evil bitch.
So we're doing this, are we?
Huh?
Your mom is very happy.
Mom, all you want to do is brag about me.
Is there anything wrong with that?
Yes?
Yeah?
Well,
Kanon-chan, when you get famous someday, lots and lots more people are going to want to brag about you.
really?
I was the same way. Big shot tournament directors, relatives of big shots, people from corporations, everyone. They'll all try to use you for their own benefit.
So I'm going to get there first.
Ew, that sounds awful. I hate it even more now.
That's not all there is to it.
I don't know what that even means.
Then why not stick with it until you discover what it means?
What the heck does that mean?
Who knows? Come on, let's practice.
Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter what I say to you anyway. It's useless.
Well, that was awful.
Then we're gonna just stick that awful scene with her mother manipulating her child into fulfilling her dreams for her.
As I said, well, that was awful.
And we're gonna just use this like it's something good. Okay, I see what you're getting at now, game. She finally understood. A moment ago, she happened to glance at a sign among the spectators. There was a disgusting-looking penguin drawn on it. Someone with long, disheveled hair had taken advantage of the loud applause to stand up and shout. She discovered the sight of her mother shedding tears. During her step sequence, the spectators sent her applause in tempo with the music. Her 4 minutes were nearly up, and her program was coming to an end. She had no regrets.
Except for maybe breaking her ankle landing the quad.
Yeah. Even if she had done so begrudgingly, Kanon was happy that she kept skating. Even if she was just the object of her mother's vicarious lifestyle. Even if she was enabling the greed of her sponsors. The applause right here, in this crowded arena, was the real thing. This is an amazing scene, let me tell you what. It just keeps getting better. The piece was drawing to a close. Her eyes were moist and her tears fell, glittering in the light. While crying with a smile, Kanon put her all into the last launch. She leapt. Kicking away the person she had been until now, she jumped towards her mother. Just keeps getting better. Eventually, I too will become a mother. And when I teach my child this song, teach each melodious measure, the tears will oft, just like my mother's, flow from my memory's treasure.
This is not a good memory.
Oh, I was about to say, is she thinking that seriously she's going to force her child into going into figure skating? Because if that whole abuse cycle was being told as a good thing, I was going to freak out.
Megalipses.
But it was lyrics. I can handle that.
Ellipses. I couldn't stop my trembling. There was a stifling silence. In those 4 short minutes, a musical selection had been filled to the brim with soul. After finishing her performance, Kanon took a brilliant final pose. She spread her arms out to the heavens and stood stone still, like a statue. Even from back here, I could tell she was crying. Suddenly, the ground shook. Kanon was bathed in cheers and applause, so fervorish that the ice itself seemed to shake. People stood with amazement on their faces, clapping to the limits of their strength. Not a single person shirked her standing ovation. No, wait, there was one. Only one other person stood unmoving, like Kanon. She was almost like an infant. At this very moment, something had clearly been reborn within Ikuko-san. I too was uncharacteristically unable to suppress my feelings. It really was exactly like songs my mother taught me. Kanon's perfect, genuine expression had left the audience even more enamored. Kanon, is this colossal ovation reaching you? Or have you already exhausted all your strength and lost consciousness? Just as I was thinking that, without being able to thank the spectators or grab hold of Coach Hilton, Kanon crumpled to the ice. I suppose it wasn't exactly a surprise for her to pass out like that. Tension and urgency ran through the arena. Everyone shouted out in concern for Kanon's well-being. Kanon! Kanon-chan! Kanon! Then, faster than I could run to the gate and the bottom of the stairs, the silhouette of someone rushing out crashed through it. Of course, with the low friction, she wasn't able to approach steadily. She fell and clumsily hit her head. But not a single person laughed. She struggled her way to her daughter. The one who embraced Kanon without delay was neither Coach Hilton nor the rinkside medic. The audience was boisterous at the sudden commotion, but the entire arena eventually filled with warm applause. Kanon left the rink, supported by her mother. The scores were a bit delayed, probably because of Kanon's collapse. The drawn-out tension was nauseating. The kiss and cry was visible on the arena's jumbotron. Kanon was gloomy. She looked vacant. She didn't approach Hilton as he stood near her. She seemed to entirely forget his existence. The arena's attention was poured entirely into the announcement of the scores of her tremendous performance. There were no misses in Kanon's performance. Even the top skaters in the world tend to make 1 or 2 misses during the long free skate. Minimizing their resulting penalties is key to victory. Some people sitting around me who seemed to be skating experts were also clamoring about Kanon's flawless performance. Plus, it was a program of the highest difficulty. It had 2 triples in a row, and a triple axel in the second half. Kanon had even demonstrated the feat of a quad. Her Achilles heel, musical interpretation and performance, execution, were also quite a different story from her usual. Just watching Kanon's free skate performance had already convinced everyone that her score would far exceed Seta's. That quad gives +5 to base points, doesn't it? Yeah, and that triple will probably have added points too.
And I think all the spins were at level 4. You think she's going to turn this around?
Without a doubt, she's going to beat 200 points with this one. I agree. Summed with yesterday's short program, she'll exceed 200 points. Just then, the long-anticipated announcement came. The applause settled.
Azai's score.
The announcement continued on next in English. There was a moment of tension. Kanon was still in a daze. The announcement seemed to last an eternity. The arena tried to endure the tension with applause.
Technical score.
The applause grew silent like a wave.
77.42.
At that moment, the wall was wrapped in marveling voices that led to a rumble in the ground. Kanon didn't move an inch. It was a terrific score. She exceeded Seta's technical score by over 10 points. I was thrown along with the atmosphere and cheered some myself. All right, next is her program component score. Everything is decided by the sum of the technical and program component scores.
Program component score.
Please.
61.21. Free skate score. 138.63.
As Kanon's personal best had just been updated, the total score was reported. It was drowned out by the loud cheering, and even the booming announcer's voice seemed to be far away. But the next moment, I rose from my seat. The total sends her into first place. Kanon made a comeback victory over Seta by 1 point. A slight trickle of tears ran down her cheek. She had a kind, relieved sort of smile. The arena overflowed with an unprecedented ovation, blessing Kanon. My hands sweat, and I finally take a breath. What a girl. She did it! She fucking did it, bro! Aichi and the rest suddenly ran to meet me.
She did it. She did it. It was so amazing I could cry.
Everyone jumped around in celebration. Yo, I totally knew that Kanon would win.
Why did you look like you were about to die right before they announced the scores?
Huh?
Oh, cut him some slack.
The whole audience was excited as these three. Some people were even moved to tears.
Yosuke!
Azai Gonzo appeared, wearing an undiscerning expression. How about that, father? Huh. He let out a faint smile.
It was truly great.
He says these words and laughed loudly. I defeated Gonzo, and it feels pretty good, honestly. You're laughing out of happiness, right? Gonzo shook his head like he was enjoying himself.
You seem to have gotten the wrong idea, Yosuke.
Huh? What? What are you talking about? The scores have already been announced. What could possibly... Gonzo interrupts my words.
She will inevitably lose.
I see the anger in his eyes and freeze up.
Please be silent for a moment.
It wasn't the female announcer from earlier. A stream of unrest flowed through the atmosphere. A man was suddenly on the intercom, introducing himself as the tournament executive. The current reported score is incorrect due to an error introduced by the technical executive's computer. I realize my face is going pale. Oh, the audience is going to riot over this. We will now announce Azai Kanon's recalculated technical score. Ellipses? The judges have reached an official conclusion of 75.12 as the score. She went down over 2 points? Wait, that means the difference of 1 point between her and Seta. Therefore, her program's overall score will also... Fuck that! At Aichi's shout, the arena fills with unprecedented chaos. Yeah, they're gonna riot. There was shouting and cursing everywhere. Fuck you! Fire them all! The spectators start throwing things onto the ice, and the security guards try to calm the crowd down. We humbly request that everyone understand. Aichi started kicking up a fuss with bloodshot eyes. There's no fucking way her score could have dropped 2 whole points. I mean, it's literally fucking impossible. I want to know which one of those stupid pricks pulled this cheating bullshit out of his ass. Cheating? Are you saying there's someone manipulating the score? No shit, that's what I'm saying. Computer error my ass. I'm going to go look at the goddamn score sheet. I bet they fucking knocked some spinner step sequence down a level or something. Ichi took off. Gonzo spoke up calmly.
That's how it goes, Kyosuke.
Why? I still couldn't believe it. But wasn't the new system supposed to make it harder for judges to rig the scores?
No matter how much the system changes, as long as people are behind it, there will always be someone rigging something.
The arena was filled with nearly slanderous suspicion. It was a level 3? You're kidding! That Y spin? Apparently a level 4 spin had been reduced 1 level. There was also several other suspicious points. The technical executive has the key role of watching it in slow motion and assigning a base point value to each element.
Indeed.
I had heard that they are accompanied by experienced judges and coaches. Hell, supposedly 2 people are paid just to watch him do his job.
Your point being?
Gonzo held on to his calm to the very end. Ridiculous! They're obliged to leave the judge video behind as evidence, aren't they?
And I suppose that's why they babbled about the computer screwing up.
My eyesight darkened in despair. But the media should have captured the performance with their cameras too. Just that should be enough too.
Even if everyone in Japan started bitching about it, the judge's decision would hold. It's absolute.
I had nothing left to say.
The shift to the new judging system has only just begun. The maggots will have plenty of excuses.
So essentially, the truth will remain hazy.
Kanon-chan, I can't believe it. It's so cruel.
Sabaki slumped against the wall, crying.
Ellipses.
Usami also wore a sharp look, as if trying to endure something. The spectators' eyes suddenly focused on the skating rink.
Please.
Seta Makiko was shouting from the ice.
Please, I insist that the judges review their decision again.
Kanon's rival pleaded in the direction of the official seats, disregarding her own position. Even in the participants' eyes, the judging was way too strange. Kanon, I mutter in shock. Kyosuke, I'm fucking out of here. Leaving so soon? Ichi's face strains in anger. There's no fucking time to waste. I'm gonna raid every motherfucking message board on the goddamn internet. Are you a flippin' idiot? Just give it a rest. My feeble voice is shaken away. This isn't fair to Kanon! Ichi had begun to tear up, and I couldn't stop him. What's he going to do isn't praiseworthy, but I understand his feelings. I wanted to run into the staff room and wring the necks of the bastards behind this. I clenched my fists in anger, as I desperately tried to keep it from exploding out of my lips. Because Kanon-chan, how do you feel right now? The camera's flash bathed Kanon, who stands dumbfounded. The reporters know instinctively that it was a setup. Can you accept that? She looked soulless. Kanon's magnificent performance, her wishes for her mother, weren't rewarded. Kanon emotionlessly shook her head.
Can I say one thing?
The crowd of paparazzi gathered around her in anticipation.
I'm stupid, and I don't really know what to say. But there's one thing I'd like to tell you.
The one impacting statement of figure skating's #1 troublemaker. A tear slides down Kanon's cheek.
I lost because I'm not good enough.
Huh? It was obviously a setup. The whole of Japan thinks so. Aren't you suspicious? Aren't you upset that you lost this fateful career-deciding match? Kanon forces a smile.
I'd like to apologize to everyone. It's my fault. I couldn't get enough points because I'm not good enough.
Then Kanon bowed.
Thank you for all your support.
She's not at fault, yet she pleads for forgiveness. Ugh. I bite my lip and watch that sad, sad girl. I want to scream. How can you stand by and let this happen? You're being used again. You gave an amazing performance, and you're being betrayed again. Kanon! God, Kanon! I feel completely helpless and nearly break down into tears. I too should suppress this feeling of humiliation. Kanon is bowing down, apologizing, and thanking people like that. She's subduing her despair and desperately holding it in.
Citizen, thank you. I am sorry.
Her nearly sobbing voice carried throughout the building. That spectacle struck a chord with everyone present. The spectators, who had come dangerously close to a rioting mob, calmed down.
Everyone, thank you so much for today.
She continued to bow her head as tears dripped to the ground. It was just too dazzling. The sight bore this sort of dignity that would overwhelm those in its presence. Even if she did lose the match, Kanon may have gained something far more precious. And now that something had transformed into tears, making her cold body shine all the more radiantly in the spotlight. Megalipses. Ellipses. Ellipses. Megalipses. Kanon started coming to school again after New Year's. Oh God, not this again.
Jeez.
All right, the time has come for another one of God's after-school consultation sessions. Ooh!
Ooh!
Today's guest is the popular figure skater Azai Kanon-san. Applause!
Wow!
So, what's on your mind, Kanon-san? What's on your mind?
I have a brother, and he's always acting all suspicious.
What's he doing?
He's always at his computer, talking to people on the phone. Oh, and sometimes he just up and disappears late at night.
Did he get a girlfriend or something?
I don't think so.
Why not?
Because Nan-chan is Nissan's girlfriend.
Huh?
Anyway, he's always all hushed up and talking to weird people. It sounds like he's talking about money, in a really scary voice.
Why don't you just ask him about it?
I did. He just said he was playing computer games, or that he went dancing.
Dancing?
He said something about hip-hop.
And what do you think about that, God? Come on. He's obviously telling the truth. What do you know about hip-hop, Lord? Well, they say yo after every sentence and stuff like that. Kanon-chan, it looks like you've been deceived.
I know, right?
But on the bright side, you've been more friendly with me these past couple of days.
Hey, you think?
You even started asking about my pets. Oh?
Nan-chan has decided to broaden her horizons.
Do you know which snakes are venomous and which are non-venomous?
Cobras, in other words.
Yup. Are you really going to accept that answer? Do you know which movies are interesting and which are not interesting?
It's interesting if it's #1 in the States.
Yup. This sounds more like narrowing your horizons. Alright, from now on, I'll teach you everything I know.
Yes, Coach!
Coach again? Megalipses. Ellipses.
Haha, that was fun.
You really threw me for a loop when you asked to join the club.
I was just wondering what you guys doing there.
Oh, we don't really do much. I'm out, bro! See ya. Aichi left.
Well, Nissan, what should we do now?
Oh, that's right. You don't have practice today.
Let's talk.
Sure, but talk?
I always wanted to space out in the classroom after class.
Looking for a bit of youthful carpe diem? She smiles and nods.
Nissan, are you busy this afternoon?
Well, I do have plans, but... Nah, not really. It's a holiday after all. But I think I'd rather spend time with Kanon.
Sorry. Thanks.
I want to continue to support Kanon. She's made quite a few breakthroughs since the Japan Championships. She's finally become able to feel gratitude and compassion for others, like a normal person. We lounged in the empty classroom. Kanon suddenly opens the window, and a smooth January breeze rolls in.
Hey, I just got a text from Seda-san.
Oh?
She wants to go out to get a bite to eat. You wouldn't believe the sweets that girl can down, Nissan.
You two are really friendly these days.
That's because she said she's eating her seat at Worlds to Nanchan.
Even though she obviously can't do that.
Yeah, so I told her just go win the gold medal. That way Japan will get to send 3 people to the Olympics.
With her ability, she could easily pull that off. At the moment, there are 2 popular female figure skaters in Japan. One is Seda Makiko, who took first in this year's Grand Prix of Figure Skating and the Japan Championships. The other is this carefree girl before my eyes. Are you preparing for the Olympics now?
Yeah, if I get the chance to compete.
Surely you will. If 3 skaters get to participate, then you've got to be one of them.
I know, right? But supposedly there's some dispute about it.
You'll make it. Definitely.
Yeah.
That's what Papa said, anyway. Alright, that's a lie. He didn't. Yes, I made up my mind. After that day, I did everything in my power to determine the truth behind the scandal. I eventually learned that the sponsors backing Seda had something to do with it. However, that's not something to bother the skaters over. That kind of battle is best left to scum like me. When do you go to America? Is it the day after tomorrow? I suddenly bring up a topic we've been avoiding in a lonely voice.
Yeah. You'll be pretty lonely, I think.
I really wish I could go with you, but...
It's alright. Mama's coming with me.
After the incident at the Japan Championships, Ikuko-san was apparently bedridden for a week. The cause seemed to be something mental. She was probably just worn out, and I can't say I blame her. After all, she had to purge herself after all the dirt that had accumulated within her all these years.
Mom said that she'd be going with me just as my mother.
I see.
But I'll still be lonely.
Whoa! She gives me a hug, and the sweet smell of her hair wisps up to meet me.
Nissan, aren't you gonna say something?
What?
Well, you always used to tell me to get off you.
I figured I'll let it slide, seeing as no one else is here.
Right.
Kanon silently stares at me.
Nanchan is so lucky.
She is? You are?
I get to keep you all to myself.
That's not fair. I have to share you with millions of fans.
Oh, come on. If you talk like that, you'll ruin the mood.
She puffs out her cheeks a little, and I softly kiss her lips.
stupid. Nissan, you're good at kissing for some reason. That kind of makes me mad.
Well, I am Yakuza. Red Yakuza, that is. I thought it was pretty witty, if I do say so myself. I guess she just wasn't paying attention or something.
Then, hold me tighter.
Guys, seriously? In the classroom? She's a major sports icon. The paparazzi are going to eat you alive if they see this. You know, through those big open windows. Just saying. This is a bit stupid. Anyways. Skip. Megalipses. Ellipses. And now, the time has come for her departure. We're saying a temporary farewell. After her training, she'll be right back by my side. Kanon politely greeted the reporters who came to see her off, and then raised her arm in a grandiose wave.
Well, I'm off.
What a cheerful smile. The devil in Kanon's heart is no longer. This girl has finally overcome her weakness, and will surely continue to leap forward long into the future.
See ya, Nissan.
Yep,
Remember to call me.
you got it. A calm smile hung from the corners of my mouth.
Thank you, Nissan. And sorry in advance for all the headaches I'll be giving you from now on.
Leaving me with these words, she bowed her head quietly. I just shook mine ambiguously. Kanon's battle is still far from over. This departure is a beginning rather than an end.
Bye-bye.
My sister waved energetically once more, and left. Kanon, who had been my sister only in name up until now, had become someone I couldn't live without. I returned her wave in the same fashion, bidding her farewell. Fight on, Kanon. Asterix. The presentation of figure skating within this game is somewhat inaccurate. No duh. Miki Ando, Japan, successfully landed a quadruple Salchow in 2002's ladies competition, and the revealing outfit Kanon wears could lead to score penalties. The sport as presented here is merely the projection of figure skating into the world of Senjou no Maou, or the devil on G-string.
That was incredibly frustrating.
Yeah. At least it's over now.
That was as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Well, it was as bad, just differently bad than I thought it would be. Yeah, that was a thing. But it's over with. It's done. And we don't have to worry about it again. Well, you don't have to worry about it again because I have to edit the damn thing still.
God.
I think that
was...
I think that sums up our feelings about that ending.
That was,
Ending.
stomach turning.
The bad end was the good end was the bad end.
Yeah. Like, I get that. I'm okay with Kanon liking skating,
Yeah.
but I really wish that she would do it for her.
Yeah.
I do kind of appreciate the hints that Ikuko kind of understood that she was doing wrong.
Yeah.
But as a general rule, the first realization does squat all.
Yeah.
Squat all. Like, people go back to what they're doing.
Yeah.
People rationalize with themselves. It's a thing. She's just accepted it.
There's not
Anyway,
enough vodka.
I'm done with that ending. I am done with it. There is not enough booze in the world to handle this. I'm done with this ending.
Yes.
This is crap.